Laissez les bon la roulette, as they say around these parts, and these parts are New Orleans. Let the good times roll, and they have been rolling all week at the Zurich Classic. I'm Rex. He's Lab. This is Writer's Block. It's Sunday night. I'm in the Media Center at TPC, Louisiana. I'm trying to process what those two robots, Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele, did this week to the field. I'm going to go ahead and start with this, Lab, and make it very, very simple. Is that duo, Xander and Patrick, is that this generation's best team for the United States, and maybe even beyond?
I didn't know where you're going off the top there. I didn't know if you were like
le bon la roulette. You don't know that one.
I kind of figured you were like three Sazeracs deep, and we're just like slurring all sorts of syllables together. Are they the best of this generation? I think if I had one match in order to live, like I absolutely needed a win, I think I would go with Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth. They might not have as good of a record as Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele. I look at their team play; they've been 4-2 together. While being paired 2019 President's Cup, and then, of course, last year at the Ryder Cup, where they actually split them up, Steve Stricker did, over a couple of those team sessions. They're 4-2. I mean, it's very, very good. I just think the clutchness, the shot-making ability, the camaraderie, the friendship, I mean, JT and Spieth literally go back 20 years. I know that there's clearly a bromance between Xander and Schauffele, but that's kind of come to fruition over these past couple years. I'll go with the guys who have been down in the trenches together for 20 years. If I absolutely had to win a match, if my life depended on it.
I'm going to take a bit of a victory lap here and break my arm patting myself on the back, because I wrote this story last year at the Ryder Cup because I was fascinated about the idea of how Tiger Woods came up with his pairing at the 2019 President's Cup. And it turns out that it was Freddie Couples, that Freddie spends a lot of time at Virginia Country Club in Los Angeles, and that's where Patrick Cantlay, and he works out, his swing coach, Jamie Mulligan, and he kind of got into Freddie's ear and started talking about how close they were. They kind of bonded on the flight over a couple rounds of gin, a lot of cups of coffee. To your point, they are not flashy. I will tell you that right now, because I have had to talk to them for interviews for Golf Central for 5 consecutive days.
Is that why this is not really Writer's Block? This is Golf Central reporter block, and that's why you're hightailing out of here without writing a story tonight?
That's exactly why I'm hightailing it out of here without writing a story tonight, because that is like taking blood from a turnip or whatever bad cliche you want me to throw out there. Those two are brutal to try to interview, but I wrote
3,500 words on Cantlay. I literally wrote 3,500 words into an 8-minute TV feature.
And the vast majority of those words came from people around him. Admit it. You're
Correct.
Smiling. I see.
That's how you have to do a feature on a subject who isn't necessarily the most willing author of his own story.
I actually got a smile yesterday. I was very proud of myself. I spent all night just kind of snickering because I started the interview for last night's Golf Central with, you two seem to have a lot of fun on the golf course. If I'm not mistaken, I think I saw Patrick actually smile once today. How did that all come about? And it actually got him to laugh. I was shocked. I did not think he was even capable of that. Like I said, these two machines who went out and just dismantled.
I've always said, Rex, though, Patrick Cantlay, Monday through Wednesday, if you saddle up to him on the range, you get him in an interview setting. I think he's a terrific interview subject. He's very thoughtful. He puts a lot of time and effort into it.
Yeah.
However, what you have to do this week, which is Golf Central reporter grabbing them, 3 to 5 minutes after signing their card, he's so locked in after working so hard over this past 5 hours. It is a fruitless exercise. He's just not going to give you anything. He's still like coming down from the high of competing.
Now, I know Haley took the headline away, but I got to get in here at the very end and just say, I went away from that story last year at the Ryder Cup, pointing out that, as you pointed out, they're 4-2-0. They're actually 4-0 in alternate shot, which has been America's Achilles heel for a long time. And that's why I'm going to make the argument that, and I see where you're coming from with JT and Jordan, there's some star power there that obviously makes this a little bit of a different story. But I think just purely, if, as you put it, if I had one match for my life, I would send Cantlay and Schauffele out ahead of anyone else. We're going to move to the next topic. What was the biggest surprise for you from the Zurich Classic?
I'm not sure there was a huge surprise. Whenever you have like these star-studded teams, and obviously Schauffele and Cantlay are star-studded teams. Those are both players who are ranked inside the top 11 in the world rankings. I thought that the Colin Morikawa, Victor Hovland team ranks 2 and 5 respectively in the world rankings. I would have thought they'd put up a better show than they did this week in New Orleans. Just T29, didn't have a best ball score better than 65. They clearly, I think their camaraderie was just fine. I think they're clearly good friends who get along just great. They just didn't have the best of form this week. I wonder if Colin Morikawa would have played this week if he wasn't a Zurich ambassador. Obviously, of them likes to play a lot of golf. It might just be a golf course that isn't particularly suited to their skills. But on paper, that was certainly a surprise. With those two ball strikers, yeah, you still got to make the putts, but those two ball strikers should have been able to put up better numbers than that.
Especially on this golf course. I scribbled those two down as my biggest surprise, and then I figured you were going to come to it. So I'm going to go ahead and change it because I realized I can take another bit of a victory lap with the Haas boys. Both Jay Haas and his son Bill Haas, they both made the cut.
Can you, though?
Jay.
Can you, though?
I can. Jay became the oldest player to make the cut at the PGA Tour event.
All right. We have to talk about this.
I'm sorry, do you have something to say?
About this. Yes.
The sausage finger is up. When the sausage finger is up.
We have to, I understand what they did. And look, this is a great accomplishment. I'm sure the Haas family has memories for a lifetime. Oh, that's, what's that guy's name? Go to his YouTube video. We can circle back on that in the podcast.
It's Walker and Sons. It's Slap Your Mama. It's so good.
Sure. Yeah. I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, I'm sure it was a terrific week for the Haases. However, Jay Haas should not own the PGA Tour record for the oldest player to make the cut in an event. Stop it. Sam Snead did it at 67, fair and square on his own ball. Come on.
Why are you doing this? I don't understand what you're doing. You took the best story of the week. And look, like I said, Cantlay and Schauffele was an amazing story because they're machine parts and they went out like computers and just dismantled the field. And they did it with Moneyball and they did it with math and they did it however it is. They do it with those big brains of theirs. The sentimental story of the week were the Haases.
It was a terrific story.
When they were coming down the stretch,
it just comes with an asterisk.
On Friday, and look, I don't want to be mean to Bill here, but Bill tried his hardest to not let his dad make the cut. Like Bill hit some pretty bad putts coming down the stretch, but they were able to pull it out. I thought it was a great week. I'm curious. I asked Jay Haas earlier in the week, so that's 799 starts for him. The PGA Tour record is 804 starts, held by Mark Brooks.
803.
803. You're right. Held by Mark Brooks. I asked him earlier in the week, Jay Haas, if he wanted to chase down that record. At the time, he said no. I asked him on Friday after he makes the cut. He didn't say yes, but he gave me a little bit of a smile. I'm going to go with a smile as maybe.
That's interesting because earlier in the week, Jay Haas was like, well, this is a different situation. You know, Bill's the one who invited me. I'm not technically taking a spot from a player in the field. If he were to go chase this record, at this point, you're 4 away. You might as well go chase it. Go play the Puerto Ricos of the world. Go play Punta Cana, whatever you want to do. You, in theory, would be taking a spot away from a guy in the field when you have virtually no shot of making the cut.
They weren't able to fill the field last year in Bermuda. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw that.
That was a golden opportunity for him. Why didn't he jump at it?
I have no idea. I think before Friday afternoon, before he played decent and made the cut at 68 years old, I don't think it even dawned on him. Moving on.
So wait, hold on. Do you think Jay Haas
says to move on?
Do you think Jay Haas is the official record holder for the oldest?
Yes. In my record book and the official record book. Yes, I'm not putting an asterisk on this. Stop. Just don't. I'm saving you from yourself. Don't do this.
Come on.
Come on.
It's a great story.
Haley, put the new headline up. Biggest reason for Captain Immelman, my colleague in the broadcast this week, to be optimistic heading into this year's President's Cup. This is going to be juicy. What do you got for him?
My Golf Channel colleague as well. I absolutely
love it. You got a slap your mama take?
I don't have a slap your mama take. I do look forward to getting a text message from Trev, whoever he may be, in my address book. I think there's a couple reasons for optimism. One is named Cameron Smith. The other is named Joaquin Neiman. He's going to need those guys to probably put up a 5-0 week at Quail Hollow. But I think the biggest thing working in the international team's advantage this year, just like every single year they play this, is that they are underdogs and they have nothing to lose. People like you and I expect them to lose. And in fact, probably on American soil, if Liberty National was any indication, it could get out of hand even on Saturday. And so, yeah. Go out there, guns blazing, try your hardest, take some chances with some of your lineup formations, and try and put together the most birdie-rific teams you possibly can. That is why Captain Immelman has reasons to be optimistic. And quite frankly, a bunch of those international players have played pretty well in the first third of this season.
And Cam Smith being the one at the top of the list, as you pointed out, he won this event with Mark Leishman alongside. So you can imagine those two are a pretty easy pairing. And that's why
Leash not in the best of forms.
Not in the best of form, but they still competed. They were here this week. They at least made the cut, and I can see enough time for him to turn it around. I say he does have room for optimism. It's not a lot of room for optimism. I'm not trying to oversell this at all. This is very much a one-sided affair. We all know the record. We don't need to rehash that. I think what he sees, though, are a couple of potential pairings. As you pointed out, Cam Smith. As you pointed out, Joaquin Niemann is certainly playing very, very well. He actually had the WD. I thought he was going to have a good week. His teammate, Mito Pereira, had to withdraw because of a back issue. And then I look at Brendan Grace and Garrett Higo. I mean, they kind of got thrown together because of something Trevor said to them. And, I mean, they played well this week. They played well in alternate shot. And I will go back to what I just said about the American team. It's such a hard format. And I think if you can get any sort of familiarity whatsoever, there is a little.
Do you really put stock? You really put stock in Zurich Classic results? Does that have any bearing on what happens in September?
I know. Well, I will say this. I do, and I was talking with next year's European captain after his round today, Henrik Stenson, and he does as well. He actually talked about maybe talking to some players coming into next year's event, trying to get some players who normally just play in Europe that he has an idea in the back of his head they could be a good pairing, and getting them to come play at this event. They're actually talking about adding 2 more sponsor exemptions specifically for the European team and the international teams, so they can use this event as a litmus test. So clearly,
switch it to match play on the weekend. Switch it to match play on the weekend. Be so much better.
Not a bad idea. So this is a question for myself. I'm not very good at asking those, so I'm going to turn it on you real quick. My best meal in New Orleans.
Wait, Rex, what was your best meal in New Orleans? I'm dying to know. I saw you had ribeye. I saw you had ribeye on Saturday night, which is just sacrilegious.
I had a steak as big as my head. No, I went to Desi Vegas, and that's a steakhouse.
Again?
Very, very good.
You went there twice?
Well, no, we went to Commanders the next night. So I'm sorry, I'm going back early in the week when we got the ribeye. That was a friend of mine, a caddy friend of mine, whose big bulbous head was as big as the steak that he and I. Yes, it was
fantastic.
Massive. And you were very disappointed with me. I'm going to say this: I touched all the bases. And you came at me today saying, where are the oysters? I had not sent you any pictures of oysters on Snapchat.
Hadn't seen them.
And I will tell you, as I was sitting my 2 hours in, I do the interviews for the Golf Channel in the early coverage on Saturdays and Sundays before CBS takes over. They sent over, I want to say, probably, I don't know, a dozen orders. Like not a dozen.
A dozen orders. I thought you were going to say a dozen.
Orders over to our set. And I partook.
I enjoyed
it. So I think I touched them all. We actually went to a place last night in Terrytown. I don't know. You don't know where that is. It's on the West Bank. Anyway, so our cameraman, one of our sound guys, his name is Jared. His sister has a restaurant over there, and she made me fried fish and shrimp etouffee. I'm telling you, I'll send it to you.
What kind of fish? Was that catfish?
I think it was catfish, yes. No, I think it was trout, actually. Now that I take it back, it was very white.
Did you have crawfish? Did you have crawfish?
I did. I had raw crawfish on Wednesday on the range. Acme was hosting, and I pinched some tails and sucked some heads. Yes, I did.
They were raw?
I had beignets.
They were raw? Raw crawfish?
No.
That seems dangerous.
I didn't say raw crawfish. I said Wednesday during the Pro-Am.
Haley, run it back. Did you have barbecue shrimp?
Did not have barbecue shrimp. So, no, I did not touch them all. I guess you got me on that one. Sorry.
Are you serious?
I did not. Sorry.
Seriously?
If we can cut this off in time, maybe I can make it across the river. Maybe I can stop it.
Mr. B's, Pascal's Manal. Come on. So many choices.
You know what? We had dinner right across the street from Pascal Manali's one night, and so I got close, but I did not. I've done it before.
Did you just sit there looking at the restaurant? Oh man!
I don't want this to be a one-sided conversation. What was your best meal of the week since you were home?
I was home. My dad came to visit. First time I've seen him in nearly 3 years. We did an enormous barbecue feast yesterday on the Gateway Drum Smoker. Did 2 racks of ribs. Did about 30 chicken wings. Did some barbecue baked beans, macaroni salad. It was absolutely delicious. And he was raving about my ribs. Even though you don't come over during the Players Championship to come down at my house, he was very pleased.
You should put that on the Snapchat.
Or TikTok.
On the universal
Rex is big on TikTok. It's Silver Fox 3419, I believe. Look him up. Look him up, folks.
That's right. All right, that'll do it for this edition, because apparently I've got to race back across the river and go to Pascal Manali's before it closes. My lab's going to be so disappointed in me. We will talk to you Wednesday night. See ya.